Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another Ask Dave. Today's question comes from Eric Dreher, K5EPD. And his question says, as you can see from my QRZ page, I'm working within an HOA. This is a common issue. Hiding my antennas as best I can. From the viewpoint of ham radio, my problem is a metal roof. That would preclude putting antennas in the attic. I'd love to string up a classic center-fed dipole between two trees for 80 through 10. If you're going to feed it in the center, I'd feed that with ladder line, and then you can tune it on any band with a tuner. And would end up about 35 feet off the ground, which is good height. The problem is that the wire path between the two trees would carry it over my roof, with the peak being about 15 feet below the wire. Would I be wasting my time going through the trouble and expense of putting up this antenna? No, not at all. Thank you for your time in answering. From Eric Dreher, K5EPD. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got in this situation. We've got a house here with a metal roof. Okay, and we've got a couple trees he can string his antenna between, and he wants to cut it in the center and feed it. Now, if you feed this with ladder line, you bring the ladder line down to your tuner and tune this on all bands. Now, if you put coax there, you're going to have trouble doing that because you're going to have some high SWRs at that point. And the ladder line makes the high SWRs much easier to tune with much lower losses. Remember that a 450 ohm ladder line is 9 times the 50 ohm. So you're going to cut the current by a factor of 9, and the voltage will go up by a factor of 9. Now, if you cut the current by a factor of 9, remember that the loss, the ohmic loss, is I squared over R. So that means you're going to be cutting the ohmic losses by a factor of 81. And that's good. That's nice. So feed that with the 450 ohm window line. Bring that to your tuner or balun or something like that. The 15 feet above the metal building, something you've got to keep in mind with antennas. Remember, with antennas, everything affects everything, okay? So the metal building will affect the antenna. But your high voltage ends, which tend to radiate a lot, are at the ends away from the building. Your highest current is in the middle. The actual way that this induces a electric field around it are quite complex. But this will work. It will work, okay? You will have some changes in propagation direction and so on. This will act as a bit of a reflector, pushing part of the signal up, okay? But it will still work quite well for you. Trees bend, okay? So you've got to have some bungee cords or a pulley and a little weight. I would recommend the bungee cords more than the pulley and the weight, because you can get that to pull up so fast that it'll actually go up and then whang down like that and snap the antenna, whereas the bungee cords operate much, much more quickly. By the way, springs and mass are the equivalent of some of the electrical pieces of the electrical things that we were talking about, and can act like reactive components from a mechanical point of view. This should work, okay? So let's look at your question again. 15 feet, would I be wasting your time? Certainly not. And you can construct an antenna like this for not very much money. Leftover wire from a construction job, or you can go down and buy this single piece of wire from Home Depot, get stranded THHN. It will stretch with time, but after a couple years, all the stretching will be gone. You can bring it down and tune it and so on. Okay, and I think you would be doing fine. So, Eric, good luck to you and what you're doing with this. I think it'll work great. If you've watched this video this far, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe. Subscribing to this channel means that you're giving YouTube your vote of confidence in this channel as something that they should share with others. I'd also encourage you to share and to click like. Also, if you'd like to support this channel financially, you may do so by going to dcasler.com/support. dcasler.com/support. And you'll find many different ways that you can support at whatever level you might like, one time to continuing, being a patron, so on and so forth. To be called an Augie, all you need to do is be a subscriber. You don't need to contribute. But when you do contribute, you're being a patron to the channel too. And I very, very much appreciate your support. It allows me to get things to test and to try and keep my equipment up to date, and also helps fly a little bit. So there you have it. Until we next meet, 73.